Okay. We are supposed to do the practicals today, correct? But before that, I want to conduct a surprise test. What do you say? So the surprise shootout round from day 1 of EC2 till here. Okay. Close. Let's see everyone, guys, online, and I want everyone to answer in the chat and here also. Let's see how much we have remembered the topics. Okay, I'm sure you will be remembering, and this is a perfect time whether it is getting injected or not. We'll see. What do you think? Yes? Ready. So, what is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. So can we say EC2 is a web service from AWS that provide resizable compute services in the cloud? What is resizable meaning here? Scale out and then scale in, and scale up and also scale down. So that meaning, can you go and launch any number of EC2 instances? Yes, you can go and do it. So, and then we have discussed about, and how many hours are free in free tier per month? 750 hours. Very good. And yes, so we have learned about different types of pricing models. What are those pricing models? On demand, reserve instances, spot, dedicated host, savings plan. Super. Okay, so which is the pricing model that we should be using in our course? On demand. So which is a pricing model which supports fixed price and pay per hour? On demand itself. On demand itself. So is it possible to predict any usage in on demand? No, we cannot predict it. Okay. So is there any commitment and upfront payment in on demand? No. So which is the one which we can do upfront payment and commitments? Reserve instances. For how many years? 1 or 3 years. Perfect. 1 or 3 years. Very good. And is it predictable usage or not predictable usage? Here it is predictable usage. Predictable usage. Very good. And we have learned there are different types of reserve instances. What are those? Standard RI, convertible RI, schedule RI. Super. So how much percentage that you will get discount? 75%. 72% actually. Very good. Okay. And which is a pricing model? Which is the pricing model which is related to auctioning, bidding, spot? Which one is that? Spot. For spot, what is the discount percentage? 90%. Wow. Okay, 90%. So will you have your EC2 instance all the time with you in spot? No. So you need to bid the price, not? Yes. So if your bidding price is less than the current price, will you get the machine? No. Okay. And then if you want to have a dedicated machine, and which one is the one? Dedicated host. And saving plans is also same as like your reserve instances, but it has a different strategy. Okay. And then we have discussed about the EC2 families. I mean, instance type. Which is the instance type that we should be using it? T2 micro. So instance type will come with the combination of memory and CPU, correct? So for T2 micro, how much memory you have? 2 GB RAM. And how much CPU? 2 CPU or 1 CPU, let it be. So you remember that. So instance type is a combination of your memory and CPU. Is it possible to have only memory? Is it possible only to CPU? No. So how do you achieve scalability in EC2? Scalability by changing the instance type. Very good. By changing the instance type. So if you are changing the instance type from T2 micro to T2 large, external, whichever it is, can you change this instance type when EC2 is running? Answer is no. What you need to do? Stop it. So you need to have downtime. Yes. But if you are stopping and then changing the instance type, do we have any data loss there? No. Why? Data is stored in the volumes. And which is and do you remember the CPU credits, burstable performance instances? So burstable performance instance meaning you will get the CPU credits. So which family that it supports? T2, T3 family will support it. Okay. Okay. Next, coming to EBS volumes. Mainly, volumes are classified into two types. What are those? EBS volumes and then instance store volume. Very good. In EBS volume can be a root volume, can be additional volume also. What is the maximum size of the root volume? 16 terabyte. And then what is the device name of the root volume? /dev/SDA1. Very good. /dev/SDA1. And if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, your root volume will also be deleted. Yes. Why? Because delete on termination is checked. Very good. Delete on termination is checked. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume will be deleted automatically. Answer is no, because delete on termination is unchecked. Which one are called temporary volumes? Instance store volume. What is another name of instance store volumes? Imperial blue. Huh? Ephemeral. What is that? Ephemeral storage. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. If you reboot, data is lost. No. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, jump or no jump? Jump. If you reboot, no jump. Okay. And then EBS volumes are chargeable, billable. Yes. Instance store volumes are free. Okay. And we have different types of EBS volumes. What are those? Different types of EBS volumes. Put it in shortcut. GP2, GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1 standard. Wow. So which one is the default volume type? GP2. And root volume supports which volume types? Except ST1 and SE1, it supports all. Which one are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and GP3. What is the full form of IOPS? Input output per second. And GP2 has what ratio of IOPS? 1:3. Do we need to configure? Is it possible to configure IOPS for GP2? No. Which type of volumes provides high performance? IO1 and then IO2. And additional volume support which volume types? All types. Okay. Okay, that's good. And then if I want to take the backup of the volume, what is the backup of the volume called? Snapshot. Backup of the volume is called snapshot. So this snapshot is a point-in-time copy of the volume. Yes. Snapshots are stored in Snapshots are stored in S3. The snapshots are full backup or incremental backup? Incremental backup. Snapshots are created from where? Volumes. From snapshots, again, what do you create? Volumes you create. Does the snapshot has any availability zones? No. Can you use the snapshots directly? No. Can you attach the snapshot to the EC2 instance directly? No. What do you need to do for that? Create a volume and then attach it. Okay. And snapshots can be copied from one region to other region. One account to another account. Yes. Using account ID. Using account ID. Okay. And okay. Let's say your snapshot is not encrypted. And if you create a volume out of it, is it encrypted, not encrypted? Not encrypted. Let's say your snapshot is encrypted. If you create a volume out of it, encrypted, not encrypted? Encrypted. Let's say your snapshot is not encrypted and you want to encrypt it. Copy option. Wow. Very good. Copy option. So all the encryption keys are stored in which service? KMS. What is the full form of KMS? Key Management Service. Key Management Service. And there are two types of tiers in snapshots. Standard and yes, archive. What is that? Standard and archive. What is that? Standard and then archive. So if you don't want to use the snapshot, can you archive it? Yes. So can you restore it again to the normal mode, standard mode? Yes. But how much time will it take? It will take 24 to 72 hours. And also, if you accidentally deleted the snapshot, where does it go and sit? Recycle bin. Can you go and retain? Can you go and create retention rules? Yes. Can you recover it from there? Yes, you can recover it. And you have a huge volume and you have a huge snapshot and you want to create a volume out of it, which it will take a lot of time. So if you want to get it immediately, what is it called? FSR. What is that called? FSR. Fast Snapshot Restore. What is that? Fast Snapshot Restore. Okay. And if I want to create, if I want to take the backup of the whole EC2 instance, what is that called? Image. What is that image called in AWS? AMI. What is the full form of AMI? Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image. So these AMIs are stored in S3. AMIs are stored in S3. Okay. AMIs are stored in S3. And by the way, guys, if you want to create a snapshot, do you need to stop the EC2 instance? If you want to create the snapshot, do you need to stop the EC2 instance? Answer is no, not required. And if you want to take the snapshots automatically based on the schedule, what is that? Data Lifecycle Manager. Data Lifecycle Manager. You have 1A volume. Can you attach it to 1B EC2 instance? Answer is you have 1A volume. 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance. Answer is no, because the EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone. So if you want to do, what you need to create? You need to create snapshots. You need to create snapshots. So if you are creating image by yourself, what is that image called? Custom AMI. Do you all agree that AWS is providing the AMIs for us? Predefined AMIs? So which is in our course, which is the AMI that we should use? Which AMI? So I haven't told you that. Did I told you? Red Hat. Yes or no? Did I told you that? So in our course, which is the AMI, which is the flavor that we should use? Red Hat only. Okay. So by default, these snapshots and AMIs that you create is public or private? Private. If required, can you make it public? So you have images. So all the companies, they have their own images in one place. What is that place called? Marketplace. What is that called? Marketplace. With one AMI, can you launch multiple EC2 instances? And so images are backed by either EBS volume and instance store volume. Yes or no? So images is what is an image? Copy of the operating system is nothing but image. Where is this operating system is getting installed? On which volume? Root volume. So that means EBS volume only, no? So your operating system will be on the EBS volume, or your operating system can be on the instance store volume also. But which one we should use? EBS volumes. And if you are creating the images automatically, what are those images called? Golden AMIs. What are those called? Golden AMIs. And these golden AMIs are created using what feature? This one might be hard. Ayan already said here. EC2 image builder. What is that? Remember EC2 image builder? Very good. So remember, if you are creating an image, does the image contains volumes also? Yes. And if you're creating an image and if it has 2 volumes, does it create the snapshots also automatically? Yes. So if you have 2 volumes, how many snapshots will you get created? 2 snapshots will get created. Do you need to stop the EC2 instance in order to take the image? Not required, but is recommended? Answer is yes. Because if someone is writing anyone in the EC2 instance, if you're taking the backup, there will be a data integrity issue. Its recommendation is to stop it. But is it possible to stop in production environments? No, you just go ahead and then take it. Okay. So if I want to retrieve the password of the EC2 instance, how do you do that? What is that? What is that? Key pair. Very good. What is that? Key pair. What is the extension of the key pair? .pem. What is that? .pem. .pem is a public key or private key? Who has the public key? AWS has the public key. What is the default username for Windows? Administrator. What is the default username for Linux? EC2 minus user. Do we have any default key pair? No, we need to create a key pair. So one key pair can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. Yes. One EC2 instance will have how many key pairs attached? Only one. So every EC2 instance, different EC2 instance has same password or different password? Different password. And you have one EC2 instance and you're retrieving the password multiple times. Will you get the same password or different password? Same password. Once you attach the PEM file to the EC2 instance, is it possible to change it? No, not possible to change it. So will you keep the PEM files very secure and safe? Is it recommended to share this PEM file to others? But will you give all the time the username password to others? What is the feature that you can implement? Active Directory. Fantastic. Fantastic. So what is the protocol is used to connect to Windows machines? RDP. What is the protocol is used to connect to the Linux machines? SSH. And what is the tool that we use to connect to the Linux machines? PuTTY. What is that? PuTTY. Does the PuTTY support PEM file? It supports what file? PPK file. So we need to convert it, no? Using what tool we'll convert? PuTTY generator. So now, guys, now I want to group the EC2 instances to get the good performance. What is that group called? Cluster group. So what is that group? Placement group. Remember, placement group. There are three types of placement groups. What are those? Cluster, spread, partition. Fantastic. So if we want to have the EC2 instance in the same rack, same availability zone, which one is that? Cluster. And if you want to have the EC2 instance spread it across multiple availability zones, spread. How many EC2 instances you can have per availability zone? 7. And coming to the partition, how many partitions you can create? 7. These partitions are in different hardwares? Yes. In one partition, how many machines you can create? Hundreds of EC2 instances. So in your placement group, is it recommended to keep same type of EC2 instance or different? Same type. Okay. I want to catch you, but I could not able to, but let's see. So how do you secure a EC2 instance? Security group. So if I ask you what is security group, can you say, is it like a firewall? So it acts like a firewall to secure a EC2 instance? Yes. What does the firewall or what does the security group will do? It will allow or it will deny. How many types of rules are there? 2 types. What are those? Inbound rule and then outbound rule. By default, inbound rules are deny. By default, outbound rules are allowed. Is it possible to specifically deny in security group? Answer is no. You can only allow it. You can only allow it. So if I want to connect to if I want to access my application or website, what is the protocol will you allow? HTTP. What is that? HTTP. So every EC2 instance have at least one security group attached. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. One EC2 instance can have multiple security groups. One EC2 instance can have multiple security groups. Answer is yes. AWS is providing a default security group. So in our course, do you create a new security groups or use default security group? Use the default security group. Is it not possible to create new security group? Possible, but don't do it until you are familiar with it. I created a brand new security group. So for that, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. These security groups are stateful or stateless? Which one are stateless? In security group, we have 3 types of sources. What are those? Custom, anywhere, my IP. Wow. Okay. Custom, anywhere, my IP. If you want to use your own machine, which one will use? My IP. If you want to give access to everyone, anywhere. If you want to give it for the group of people or for a particular security group or particular network, custom. So if you allow any inbound rules, do you need to allow that on outbound rules in security group? If you allow any inbound rules, you must allow that in outbound rules. Which one is that? NSCLs are stateful or stateless? Can we say NSCL as another layer of security to the EC2 instance? If you want to tie it to the security, which one would you use? NSCL. Which one will hit first? And then, is it possible to deny an NSCL? Is it possible to deny an NSCL? Yes. And do we have a default NSCL? Yes. In the default NSCL, by default NSCL, inbound rules and outbound rules are allowed. But whenever you create a new NSCL, it is deny. Outbound rules also deny. Security groups are which level? Instance level. And these NSCLs are subnet level. One subnet is associated to one availability zone. One subnet can be in multiple availability zones at the same time. One availability zone can have multiple subnets. One subnet is associated to one NSCL. One subnet can be in multiple NSCLs at the same time. No. One NACL can have multiple subnets. If I deny in NACL, will it be allowed in security groups? No. NACLs are mandatory or optional? Optional. Okay. Now I have a requirement that whenever the load comes, automatically my EC2 instance will need to up, and then based on the load, it should go on. What is the concept called? Autoscaling. Autoscaling meaning scale out and then scale in. Scale out meaning increasing. Scale in meaning decreasing. So in can we say whenever there is a demand on the traffic, autoscaling group will scale out and scaling accordingly. And do you remember we have minimum, maximum desired capacities? Minimum and maximum are boundaries. Minimum, maximum are boundaries. If I set a maximum as 10, can autoscaling group will go and launch 11 EC2 instance? No. If I set a minimum as 2, can my autoscaling group will have 1 EC2 instance? No. So is it possible to achieve fault tolerance with autoscaling group? Zero downtime? Yes, possible. What is desired capacity? Yes. Yes. So the number of EC2 instances that you initially want to launch, that you desire or wish to launch. So there are 3 types of scaling options are there. What are those? Manual scaling, schedule scaling, and dynamic scaling. So you got confused. Dynamic scaling, auto scaling, you confused. Okay. So manual scaling meaning I can go and modify minimum, maximum desired capacity in any time. That is called manual. Schedule meaning certain period of time or certain period of a day or particular day. Excellent. And then dynamic scaling based on the load. Whenever you have a load, automatically scale out will happen. Whenever there is no load, scale in will happen. And how does auto scaling group automatically will go and launch the EC2 instance? How does it know? Okay, my question might be still. So you have auto scaling group. Scale out will happen now. How does the auto scaling know what kind of configuration that EC2 instance? What is that? Templates. What is that? Templates. What templates? Launch templates. What is that? Launch templates. And also we have 2 types of status checks. What are those? Instance status check, system status check. So 2/2 checks should be passed. If 1/2 is passed, will you able to log in? If 0/2, will you able to log in? So what do you need to do for that? Just stop and start. Restart is have another meaning. So stop and start, jump or no jump? Jump. Reboot meaning no jump. So that meaning you need to stop and start in order to jump the machine. Nice. What is load balancer? Which distribute the traffic across the instance. What is load balancer called in AWS? Elastic load balancer. This elastic load balancer is completely managed by AWS. This ELB is a service or a server for us? Service. How do you access load balancer? Using the DNS name or URL. Can you log into the load balancer? Does the load balancer has the IP addresses? Yes. Those are dynamic or static? Dynamic. Is it recommended to access your load balancer using IP address? You should use the DNS name. How does the load balancer do the monitoring to the application? Using health checks. Using health checks. What is the status code that you are expecting? 200. There are different types of load balancers. What are the different types of load balancers? Yes. Super. Application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, gateway load balancer. Which one is the default one? Application load balancer. And this application load balancer works on which protocol? HTTP and HTTPS. Fantastic. I want to set up some Docker Kubernetes. Which load balancer that supports? Application load balancer. And if you want to have a high performance, NLB. NLB works on which protocol? TCP and UDP. And which is load balancer supports static IPs? Network load balancer. And how many static IPs it provides? 1 per availability zone. And classic load balancer is a previous generation one. So, and then we have the gateway load balancer. So this gateway load balancer works on which protocol? Gateway protocol. So if you are setting up any firewalls, any prevention systems, so which load balancer will you choose? Gateway load balancer. So now in application load balancer, we have routing features. What are the few routing features that you know? Host-based routing, path-based routing, and string parameter routings. So do you remember that in load balancers, you need to create a target group? So one load balancer can send the traffic to multiple target groups. And we have different types of IPs. What are those? Public IP, private IP, and elastic IP. If I'm stopping and starting the EC2 instance, IP address is getting changed. Which IP address is that? Public. Public IP is dynamic or static? Which one is static? I have, okay, which one is mandatory IP? Private IP. And I am in the internet, I want to connect to the EC2 instance. So with which IP address you will connect? Public IP. Public IP or elastic IP. And two EC2 instances will talk to each other using what type of IP? Private IP. And you have a company, and from company you want to connect to the AWS. How do you connect? Using VPN. These public IP and elastic IPs are mandatory or optional? Optional. So the EC2 instance can have only private IP? Yes. The EC2 instance can have private IP plus public IP. The EC2 instance can have private IP and elastic IP. The EC2 instance can have public IP, elastic IP, private IP, everything? No. So public IP and elastic IP both should be different or same? So it should be, okay. Now, okay, that's a wrong question. So is it possible to assign both? No, you cannot assign both. Okay. How many EIPs are free? 5 are free. Is it recommended to keep your elastic IPs ideal? No. It is chargeable. So that meaning your EIP should be associated to the EC2 instance? Yes. What is instance metadata? Data about instance. Okay. So from where do you get this metadata? From console, from the details section. And how do you get the metadata from CLI? The URL. That URL 169.254 169.254/latest/meta minus data. Super. So this URL will work in browser or will work in CLI? In CLI. I want to write some script which has to be executed at the boot time. What is that called? User data. What is that called? User data. So can we call user data is a bootstrap scripting? For Linux, which scripting you will use? Shell scripting. For Windows? PowerShell use. One server holds one IP address. Is that unicast or anycast? Unicast. All servers are holding the same IP addresses. That is anycast. And then I want to give two static IP addresses to my customers. So which features that is allowed? Global, what is that? Global accelerator. What is that? Global accelerator. And global accelerator supports unicast or anycast. And how many static IP addresses you will get it? 2. And global accelerators will use edge locations, yes or no? Super, guys. Excellent. Extraordinary. Very good. Good, yeah. Very good. Excellent. I am literally very happy, guys. You are able to answer all these questions. Excellent. If you're able to answer like this in interview, he will be on your feet. I'm telling you. Excellent. Very good. How about you guys, online guys? Thank you, Rao. Yes, of course, I'm teaching it, but the good thing is, the concentration that you're putting is very level. It's very nice. So now tell me, injected? Yes or no? Sir, how come, sir? Right? Guys, is it a joke that to get this much huge concept, just like that you are answering it? It's not a joke, man. It's not a joke. Just like that you are answering the deeper level questions. Man, it's too good. Nice. Okay, Apurva even didn't revise it and he answered all the questions. Very good. So guys, those who have not able to answer, do not worry. Okay, this is not the end of the world. Okay, don't worry at all. So there's nothing wrong in revising the subject, no issues. If you feel that you need to revise, please go ahead and revise the topics. So as I'm very happy, let us conclude the class today. Okay, I'm leaving you early today a little bit. Huh? Oh, Bakri, thank you. I thought you were asking some questions. Tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow we have class. My Bakrid will be done by morning and in the afternoon eating done. Evening I'll be free. Right? So tomorrow we'll be having class and we'll be entering into EC2 practicals. Okay, ma? So those who have not able to answer your questions, please take this time and revise it. There is no harm in revising it. Please go ahead and revise. And also, if you have any doubts in any kind of theoretical subject, our mentors is also there. They are waiting for you. So today one mentor came to me and said that, sir, please send your people. I said, like, my people doesn't need anything. They know already. So anyways, go ahead and then try to catch some work over there. Okay. How to approach mentor? You have online links also. Zoom link is there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the festival wishes. And tomorrow we have class. Don't worry. Huh? Tomorrow we have class. Super. Excellent, guys. So, and by the way, hey, hold on. See, I'm just leaving early today only. Okay. There might be few people, one out of 200 people, 2 people will be there. Why sir has not teach anything today? Today we last 15 minutes. So don't worry much. Okay. Nothing will happen. So it's just like relax. From tomorrow. Okay. Excellent. Can you give me the final CC for today? Super. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the EC2 practicals. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and good night.